Hello, everyone! Happy
Hello.
Monday. We were so excited talking amongst ourselves backstage that we almost forgot that we had a show to do. But
To be continued.
yes, we are both here. Hopefully, we have solved all of the audio and technical issues that we may not have had last week. And we will be able to just do a nice, clean show for you guys. Taking a look at who we've got in the chat already. Vince Lamb here. Welcome, Vince. And a serious. It is Patriot Day, otherwise known as September 11th, 22nd anniversary. So thank you, Vince, for reminding us all. And we are definitely going to be talking D23 today. Oh, yeah. In Derek Ho's Corner, we've got Blossom and Michelangelo. And Michael Bingham checking in. Michael's mom is not doing too well. She's in the hospital right now. So we're sending you our best wishes. I know you're taking a little break from social media. I saw, and so I'm thank you for checking in with us today, and give your mom our best. And Brian Sager is wondering if we can finally breathe from the weekend at Destination D23. I did not attend in person. I attended virtually, but I tell you my thing. I was tweeting or live Xing, because we can't say live tweeting anymore. But I was live Xing for Attractions Magazine all morning on Saturday, and boy, were my thumbs sore by the end of that. And finally, Caleb Joshua Hill checking in from Fantasyland Adventures, saying good afternoon to you too, Caleb. All right, well, we have, as I mentioned, a whole lot of D23 information to talk about. So let's simply jump straight into the show in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 208 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And Carly has been on a West Coast adventure. I am very jealous. Please tell everyone what you have been up to.
Yes, it's been a whirlwind, I guess I'll just say. I feel like I was in South Africa, and I don't know where my body is, so it's been like...
What time zone is this?
Yes, I don't know what time zone. I am confused, but I had a wonderful and packed in schedule on the West Coast. I did Oogie Boogie, Tiana's Palace, the Walt Disney Animation Studio Lot D23 tour. I did HHN Hollywood, all 3 nights of opening weekend.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Do you have a step counter? I am curious. I did back-to-back nights at Halloween Horror Nights and Howl-O-Scream here in Universal Orlando and SeaWorld, and I know I did 15 miles in those 2 nights put together. I can't imagine how many steps you put on in 3 nights plus wow.
Also, I did 4 daytimes at Disneyland because my key is now no longer blocked out, because we have
yes
key out summer. So.
And I have that key, and I have not yet been able to go back and take advantage of it. So I'm. How were the Disneyland parks once those pass holders were unblocked? Because we saw it was so quiet over the summer. A lot of people were expecting big crowds coming back as soon as those unblockings happened.
Yeah, the days got pretty busy, but it's kind of like an afternoon crowd. So because I was so jet lagged, it actually worked in my advantage.
Okay.
I never rope drop. I am not an early morning person. But
sure.
Because of my weird sleep schedule, I ended up just hitting the park each day as soon as it opened. And I did so much. So it was a welcome back.
That is the great thing about Disneyland, because here at Walt Disney World, most people are, on a vacation, and they're devoted to trying to get those rides in, and they rope drop Disney World in huge crowds. Whereas at Disneyland, it's a lot smaller crowd in the early morning, you can get a lot done.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. Oogie Boogie's back. That was really
Yeah.
fun. Judge Doom was the
Oh, yes.
course. I loved it. I don't know. They were doing ops different this year. They were letting you linger in front of the characters, which I
Oh.
really appreciated because usually they're like, keep going, you know,
Mhm.
they're quick trails. And also at Agatha, they let us linger. So we watched like Judge Doom for a good like 20 minutes and they were just letting people have it. So I
That's awesome.
appreciated that. Tiana's Palace, amazing. A very welcome addition to Disneyland dining.
Mhm.
Very impressive. Quick service still, but not quick service quality. I had
No.
some of like the best things I've eaten at Disneyland in a while.
Mm.
The I think it's called Seven Grains. I don't know. I can't keep
Seven Greens, maybe?
gumbo. It's the vegetarian
Yeah.
gumbo. Collectively, we all loved it.
Mm.
The side of red beans and rice that comes with the muffaletta was some of the best red beans and rice ever. Cornbread was amazing. Tasted just like Hoop-Dee-Doo, which is like an
Well, that's a high standard.
Yeah, the beignets were so good. It's wonderful, and it really the core of the whole building looks exactly like French Market did. You know, you've got your tray situation. You have the two sides that come up. The outside is the same, but basically it's so beautiful now. I don't know if you saw any pictures, videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is gorgeous. They did a great job.
And-
was in there gawking.
Honestly, French Market was always one of my favorite quick service experiences at Disneyland. It had good food beforehand. It's not like this was like, you know, a Pizza Planet or something that really needs a lot of help. So the fact that they have, you know, they've improved something that was already really good makes me very excited to go and try it.
Absolutely.
Myself.
The executive chef's from New Orleans, so it felt like, honestly, it was comparable with a lot of food that I've actually had in New Orleans. So,
Wow.
and that was
That's
what
great.
you know, the person I was dining with also agreed. We're like, we love it.
And it sounds like there's one less reason to go out to downtown Disney and go to Ralph Brennan's, or it's not even Ralph Brennan's anymore. It's the Jazz Kitchen, which, yeah, it sounds like you get more authentic New Orleans food now inside the park.
I agree. And once they did the transformation of there, I don't really hang out at Jazz Kitchen anymore. It was such a great bar.
It's a shame. Back in the day, it was amazing.
It was so fun. That was great. Did a lot of the Halloween stuff. I saw, you know, Donald and Daisy in their vampire outfits, all the treats. They're so cute. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I also went to HHN Hollywood.
Yeah. And do you have a top pick for a house or an experience there this year? Anything really stood out?
Yes, so coming from Orlando, so I did Orlando the first 2 nights opening weekend, and then I did HHN Hollywood the first 3 nights. Their Chucky, like the Chucky was at the bottom of my list in Orlando, and towards the top at Hollywood. It's so good. It's totally different. They have animatronics. Orlando doesn't. There is a 6-foot-tall Chucky.
I saw that in the video. That was fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, was wonderful. And then Latin Monsters.
Yeah.
Their original exclusive Hollywood houses was really good. But my favorite is Holidays in Hell. Oh,
you know, I watched a video of that, and Holidays in Hell in Orlando was, I think, more of a comedy house. It had, you know, kind of a horror host, campy sensibility, and it seems like the Hollywood version was much more hardcore.
Yes, much more into the scary. It was so good, and then the scents that they pump into each of the rooms for the different holidays were so intense. They were on like overdrive. So the Thanksgiving room especially was just like reeking of turkey, and it was so good. We did it the first night like 4 times in a row.
Well, speaking of scents, I spent, like I said, back-to-back nights at Halloween, Horror Nights, and Hallowscream. And the most memorable thing, I'm not saying my favorite thing, but the most memorable thing from HHN this year, that Exorcist maze, they brought back the poop smell with a vengeance. That's the only thing I can remember about that entire maze.
Someone vomited at Hollywood in the Exorcist house when we were there. And it was because of that. So.
I don't. I don't doubt it. I really. I've been kind of harsh on HHN in Orlando for the past few years. I felt kind of like I got that there were a lot of post-COVID restrictions, but it didn't feel like they were really hitting their stride. And this year, I felt like it was back to form. I love having a host, an icon that ties the whole event together thematically. I thought the scare zones were back to being scare zones instead of just selfie zones, and I really enjoyed, especially the original houses like Dueling Dragons, but thought all the houses other than Chucky were really, really solid.
That's the crazy thing is it's just like such a collection. Usually I'm like,
Yeah.
there's like 5 that I really like.
Yeah.
I'm like, I loved every single one except for Chucky.
Yeah. And also big shout out to the Nightmare Fuel cast and crew. They upped their game this year. I thought last year was kind of just sort of like the first year repeated, but this time a lot of new routine, and the whole thing just fits and flows together much tighter. Great work on that one.
Yes, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I'll be back very soon,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do that. And then I have to mention The Purge, new show at Hollywood.
That's one I wish I could see in person, because in video it's just like...
It is like mind-blowing. There's so much going on. I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but it was so cool. There's EDM. It's just perfect for that atmosphere.
You got the lasers, you've got pyro, you've got the jet, but you also have some insane gore. Like I watched video with like people's hands exploding and heads
Blood.
like really gory for even for Universal standards. So I was a little shocked at that. I wish I could see that one in person.
Yeah, it was over the top in the best possible way. Like they really went for it. Love that. The Peacock Bar with David S. Pumpkins.
I saw the bar. I went through a couple times. I never saw the character. I also never saw the Megans. I heard about the Megans. I never got to see the Megans. But
I never saw them either because at Hollywood they are actually in
it's a show. Yeah, it's like
thing. Yeah. And so I did pass through the exhibit, which is very cool. They have a ton of costumes, props. They have a black phone photo op. The grabber is outside. He's been demoted from a house to just like the line when you get in.
Poor grabber.
But yes, I didn't see the Megans yet, but it will happen at some point.
Yep. Well, there's still, I can't believe, like more than like 6 weeks, 7 weeks until Halloween. We got plenty more time.
Yes. So many more things to do. So.
And yeah, we could definitely just probably sit here and talk Halloween all afternoon, but we do have some news in the queue that we should probably talk about. All right, we are mostly going to be talking Disney news today because of the big D23 destination convention that we just had. But before we jump into that, there's a little bit of Disneyland updates. The rivers of America have not been as colorful as they usually are lately, ever since the big fire put Fantasmic on hiatus until next year. But we are getting a new show, a nighttime show, coming to the Rivers of America based on the Pixar movie Soul. It's called The Heartbeat of New Orleans, a living mural, and it's going to debut at the end of this month, September 29th, for a limited time.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. The one issue is that area is so congested all the time that I kind of didn't miss Fantasmic not coming back because it's just so hard to flow through there. And now with Tiana's Palace, we have Haunted Mansion Holiday. That area is so busy at all times, even if the park isn't busy.
Yeah, it is. You know, we talked about the Haunted Mansion queue rebuilding project, which is just as much about getting people out of the pathways. It gets really congested there. And one more piece of entertainment to make that even more congested. Should make things interesting. Thoughts and prayers for the ops people who have to put down masking tape for every time they have some sort of show down on the at the riverfront. But this new nighttime show tells the story of a mischievous frog using a jazz score accompanied by projections incorporating original artwork by Disney graphic designer Marcella Sweat. Her chalk art in downtown Disney District was showcased during the recent Celebrate Soulfully celebration. This is also happening still on the Rivers of America is Queenie and the Jambalaya Jazz Band, and they do musical performances on a floating stage, aka Tom Sawyer river raft. On select evenings this fall, and during the holiday season they're going to be out there nightly. It's not quite the same as Phantasmic, but I guess it's what they can do. I did hear some good news. Disney had their license to throw flames kind of cut off, suspended after the Phantasmic incident while they're doing an investigation, and I just heard that they have gotten back the ability to do flames. So they haven't been doing flames in World of Color, and they haven't been doing the flames around the castle during the Halloween fireworks show. They've been doing like smoke with lights instead of the big flame jets. So hope
the license for that. I mean, it's just so crazy when you say it out loud.
Yeah. So hopefully that is correct, and they've got their license to flame again. Yes, we will not see Phantasmic again until spring of 2024, and when we do see it again, there will be no more Murphy. The Maleficent Dragon has been laid to rest, so we'll have to see what that show looks like when it comes back. But I would say if you love jazz music, this is another great little piece of entertainment if you happen to catch it this fall. And if you don't like jazz music, this is a great opportunity to see other attractions while people are drawn over there to watch it. Yep. All right, next up, we have details revealed just before D23 for the Zootopia-themed land at Shanghai Disneyland, including a peek inside the all-new attraction Zootopia Hot Pursuit. And they have definitely gone all out in adding character and life to this new themed area, because they have adorable puppet characters coming out of windows all over the place, who are going to be talking to each other and to guests, and making the whole land really interactive and alive.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the word immersive obviously comes to mind, but like we say that so much, like this land's immersive. This really does seem very immersive.
Yep.
And I feel like because it's at Shanghai, everyone's going to get dressed up and they're going to wear all their...
Oh, there's going to be so much animal bounding. It's not even funny.
So much, and that's going to even further add and just the excitement over that.
Yes.
It looks really good. And then the trackless dark ride. Oh, I just love a good classic trackless dark ride. So.
Yes. So we got Hot Pursuit is the name of the ride, and this definitely looks like an e-ticket attraction. It includes multiple animatronics in the queue, in the pre-show. It looks like there's at least 2 big life-size animatronics who are going to be kind of introducing you to your adventure, where Officer Clawhauser is going to brief you, along with Chief Bongo, on your mission to help Officer Judy Hopps and her partner Nick Wilde to save the superstar Gazelle, who's been kidnapped. And the ride system, it looks like it's a trackless vehicle. It looks kind of like if the Ratatouille car and the Indiana Jones car had a baby, it would sort of look like this.
It looks like Hot Wheels to me.
It does. It's or like a baby version of the Transformers ride vehicle. You've got 5 people in each row and 2 rows, so a total of 10 people per vehicle, and it's a single bench-style lap bar goes across each row. But it does appear to be trackless, and we have one. Looks like a photo. This looks like a photograph, not a render to me. And it's full-sized physical sets that look like they surround you. And then we've also got some artist, concept artwork here. It looks like, some of these things look like it's going to be a combination of animatronics and sets, but also with some digital screens probably to extend the sets or fill in some of the animation.
Absolutely. I was getting Secret Life of Pets vibes from Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah.
One of my favorite dark attractions because it's physical set pieces, screens, animatronics, and it all just like works together to really thrust you into the storyline, as opposed to like a Ratatouille sometimes is a little too screen based for me.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this leans absolutely more towards physical sets than screens. I get, especially from this photo here, I get a little bit of a vibe of the Jurassic World ride that they have in Beijing. But we will just have to wait and see. But we do know, as you mentioned, that they are really focusing on this immersive environment that goes as far as kind of crossing over between real-world brands and fictional brands. They are bringing in Skechers. I'm fast-forwarding a little because there's a lot of detail here, but they've got a partnership with Skechers that are going to be creating like a sub-brand of animal-themed, like Zootopia-fied Skechers shoes, so that you'll be able to buy in the park. They've kind of blended, crossed the line between retail and entertainment by having things like Fashion by Frou Frou, where you can have an animatronic polar bear outside. You've got a puppet character outside, up top, talking out of the window, and then you've got a interactive retail experience inside, and that's kind of the theme with all these retail shops throughout the area.
This is great because we're so jealous of the merch. Asian parks.
Yeah, Asian parks always get the best merch.
And the treats look really good too.
Treats look yummy, and something else that I found interesting is they've got animated windows, little kind of digital things to kind of add kinetics and bring to life. You can see the Zootopia Central train station, and you're going to see a big metro train passing behind a decorative stained glass window. You're going to see lemmings jumping out of the hypertube. There's a fitness center and a dance club where you'll see shadows, projections of characters inside, and it kind of makes the whole place feel alive. It's kind of the difference between like the Wizarding World, where you have all these windows that animate and things are happening, versus a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where everything is pretty but it doesn't move. It's just static. So I'm very much looking forward. Hopefully to someday see this in person. If they want to fly us out for the opening to cover it, we would be willing to negotiate. So if you want more information about visiting the Shanghai Disneyland Resort, go to shanghaiDisneyResort.com/en, and please check out the video that we have posted of the puppets and the ride vehicle model on our YouTube channel. All right, we are now going to take a deep dive into all of the major announcements from Destination D23 held over this past weekend at the Contemporary Resort at Walt Disney World. There were some surprises. There's some things that maybe we'd heard some whispers about, but there are definitely some things we did not expect. And the first thing we are going to talk about is the Country Bear Jamboree an opening day classic at the Magic Kingdom's Frontierland is getting a overhaul, a brand new show featuring brand new songs, which are no longer classic country and western songs, but now going to be Disney songs given a Nashville sound. And while I'm looking forward to seeing Trixie and Big Al sticking around hopefully for many years to come, I don't really know how to feel about losing all the original music.
I feel not happy. I was very upset when I saw this. Some of the songs they currently perform are a little, you can't believe
yes, and that's part of what was great about it, that there's still this little slice of completely politically incorrect, Mama Don't Whip Little Buford, and Blood on the Saddle. There's got if we don't have at least a little hint of blood on the saddle, I don't know if I can handle it.
I think this is going to be really cookie cutter, and that's what makes me sad, because all of the material goes way over children's heads. So I don't see a point in changing it. I think it's funny, and it's nice when I do it like every once in a while because I enjoy it. It's classic. It's one of the last things Walt Disney personally did. It's Disney to me, and it's funny to see like parents laugh. They get to have a little thing because there's something for them. It really does feel for us, but kids still enjoy it. So I am a little sad, actually very sad.
I mean, they did a few years ago. I'm sure there's been plenty of discussion over the years behind the scenes at Disney about, does this make enough revenue? Do we sell enough merchandise? Does it get enough crowd flow to make it worth continuing to maintain these animatronics? And a few years ago, they edited the show down. They made it shorter. And I'm sure the people who did that thought that they were just helping prolong its life. But that edited version lost something to me in terms of the flow and the character and the humor. It makes it maybe a little easier to say goodbye to this version, but not a lot. I'm hoping that they managed
Disney songs. I love Disney songs, but I don't want that with this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if nothing else, they should still keep the Ballad of Davy Crockett in it, because that's a Disney song. There's no reason they need to get rid of that finale. So we'll just have to see. We do not, I believe, have a date. We just know that sometime in 2024 we will see this change happen. Yeah. And another change that already happened. Oh, sorry, I got a little out of order in my items. So we did not have a specific story tied to this, but Figment is back. He made his surprise return appearance at Destination D23. It got to meet Dave Goelz, who is the voice of not only Gonzo and many other Muppet characters in his 50-year career with the Muppets, but he also voiced the current version of the Imagination Ride, playing Figment. So they brought the new Figment walk-around character that we learned about last year, and boy is he big. He is ginormous.
I miss when he was doing a meet and greet as a little puppet.
A little puppet. Well, Dreamfinder apparently has been retired. We do not talk about Dreamfinder any more than we talk about Bruno, apparently.
Right.
So, they had to have a version of Figment that was self-contained and able to walk around on his own. And he's a tall one.
Big boy.
It's a difference. We've had a few years ago, there was another walk-around Figment. The body is similar, but the head has a whole new sculpt. And I don't know, I think the previous head was maybe a little friendlier, though this one seems to be a little more accurate to the animatronic in the ride. I have not gotten a chance to see him in person because he made his debut appearance on Sunday, and I know our friend Banks Lee waited about 4 hours in line.
Oh,
And I think there are probably other people who waited even longer because I'm sure he got there early.
yeah.
So I'm gonna wait
Be
for
around
that.
for a bit,
I'm
yeah.
gonna wait for that hype to die down a little bit. I'm in fact what I am gonna do is I have myself a reservation since us annual pass holders still need reservations to go to Epcot if we want to ride Gardens of the Galaxy. So I have one for I think the 25th, and they will be having annual pass holder previews of Moana's Journey of Water. And the best news for me that came out of Destination D23, Soarin' Over California will be back.
Yes.
I can't wait to smell the orange groves again. So I will hopefully have a day where I get to ride Guardians, get to ride Soarin' Over California, and get to give Figment a hug. Which
you guys
pretty
will
much,
compare in height, I think.
yeah. I think he is going to tower over me. Actually, I think so. So Figment is out now, but we are going to have to wait a little bit longer, maybe quite a bit longer, for the big announcement that was made at Destination D23. We've heard before that big changes were going to come to Dino Land USA at Animal Kingdom, but they brought out Bruce Vaughn, who recently returned to lead Walt Disney Imagineering after leaving the company for a few years, to tell us that everything they told us at the last D23 event about Dino Land is completely wrong. Last time they showed us artwork of a Moana boat ride and a Zootopia dark ride, and you can throw all that aside because now the new plan, which our editor Matt confirmed with Disney PR, is a firm, definite, sure thing plan, absolutely. Just like Dick Tracy's Crime Stoppers and the Mary Poppins ride. We won't talk about that. The new plan is, drumroll please, Encanto and Indiana Jones as part of the Tropical Americas. If you don't know what the Tropical Americas is, that is the northern part of South America and the southern part of Central America, which is perfect setting for both the casita from Encanto and also a mysterious temple for Indiana Jones to explore. If you were to take this piece of concept art, which is basically the only piece of concept art that we've got, we can see an entrance to the area, which I believe is roughly where the large dinosaur skeleton that you walk underneath to enter Dinoland USA would be. And as you walk straight forward, to your left, this would have been the boneyard, the playground, and it looks like some sort of maybe a carousel spinner ride, looks like to me. And then to the right, this looks like where the not Burger Digs. That is in Jurassic Park. Restaurantosaurus. Restaurantosaurus also here now looks like probably still a dining complex of some sort. And then straight back we see a kind of South American indigenous pyramid, exactly where we would have the entrance to a dinosaur. And that makes perfect sense because, as we all know, Dinosaur is the Indiana Jones ride, about 98% of the ride track, and the vehicle hardware is the same, just different decorations. So that seems like the easiest swap out you can imagine. And then finally, over here, where once we had Chester and Hester's Dinorama and the Primeval Whirl Spin, this looks like what I would imagine is some sort of e-ticket dark ride based on Encanto's Casita. And it looks like that looks exactly the spot where Chester and Hester's Dinorama store used to be. So that would probably also be some sort of retail. And they've given us absolutely no details. I mean, we were speculating that the Indiana Jones will be the Indiana Jones ride we know from Disneyland. But we have no details whatsoever on the Encanto attraction. I have my fingers crossed for Mystic Manor, basically an Encanto version of Mystic Manor. But
we don't. I don't. My D23 hesitation is always like, I feel like sometimes they make announcements to announce something because there's D23. And I hate to say that, but I don't get hyped for D23 anymore because I don't know what's actually going to happen, what's going to come to fruition.
My favorite part of all this was because they had I believe it was Jennifer Lee and Chris Beatty were the ones who rolled out the blue sky concepts that they showed in 2022. And neither of them were on stage this time. Instead, it was Bruce Vaughan. And Bruce Vaughan seemed like not, really angry, but slightly annoyed that he was like, yeah, I was sitting and watching that last year. And I was pretty surprised that you pulled out that because that's not what we're doing. It was interesting to see that little bit of maybe behind the scenes tension between the executives show up on stage. So yes, I would not book any vacations based on any particular attraction or concept at D23 until you see the ribbon being cut. I wouldn't hold my breath for any of this stuff.
But I mean, this is sort of probable only because the nail in the coffin has been ready to dig into Dinoland. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of believe this. At least some of this will happen.
Yeah. Well, the writing has been on the wall for Dinoland for a long time, and the idea of doing an Indiana Jones overlay has been floated even before they talked about the Moana and Zootopia attractions. I'd been hearing rumors about Indiana Jones, so everything eventually comes full circle. So again, this is way off in the future. No date, no year, no decade. But I think something that is probably a little closer to actually coming to reality is the new Zootopia show that is going inside the Tree of Life. I think some folks were confused because the very first piece of art they showed was kind of a logo on the outside of the Tree of Life, and people thought it was only going to be a projection show. And I think there might be a projection show component to it, but this is definitely something that is taking place inside the Tree of Life. It is a 3D show, presumably still using 3D glasses, using very much a similar setup as It's Tough to Be a Bug. This officer, Clawhauser, is that his name? The big cat. I guarantee you that the same R&D that went into the animatronic that we just talked about for Shanghai is going to be replicated, and they're putting him exactly where that Hopper animatronic, that Hopper animatronic is probably the most underrated animatronic at Disney World. It is so fluid, it is so fast. And so few people see it because It's Tough to Be a Bug does not get. I've never seen more than a 5 or 10 minute wait there. Come on, never. So this will probably breathe some more life into the Tree of Life, and in some way, I know that like Joe Rohde has said that talking animals with pants do not belong in Animal Kingdom, but this might make a nice kind of thesis statement, way to bridge, between the fantasy and real world animals, and I don't know. I'm trying to spin.
Well, we
for
have
them.
Avatar, and that's not real.
We do exactly.
This is okay.
Yeah. I wanted to point. This is a slight detour, but while we are here, from a later panel in the day, this was referring specifically to Epcot panel in the day, but they showed this, and I have never seen this breakdown before. But in discussing Epcot, they talked about how they internally have a mission statement which boils down to a theme that breaks down each of the 4 Disney World parks along a spectrum, and each one has kind of a key word and a key phrase. And I have never seen this before myself. I found this really interesting. And this is sort of what they said, that they use this internally to try to decide, where an attraction should go, or, what fits into each park. Magic Kingdom is where fantasy reigns. So that is the most fantasy-based park. And then as you go each step to the right, it's more and more reality-based. So just next to the Magic Kingdom is Hollywood Studios, is where Let the Adventure Begin. Epcot is kind of 3/4 of the way. So that is the magic of possibility. And this I found fascinating because it annoyed the heck out of me. They're putting, rightfully so, the most realistic end is Animal Kingdom, and they say it is alive with magic. But here's the thing. You just said that Epcot was the magic of possibility.
That seems
all right.
real, yeah.
You've used fantasy, you've used adventure, you've used magic. If you're going to come up with a phrase for Animal Kingdom, it should be alive with wonder, not alive with magic. You just used magic.
Yeah.
Like these are like the key, alive with wonder works so much better. This is a little pet peeve that no one listening to cares about except me. So.
No, I care, because it sounds like we could have these fictional animals.
Yeah.
They're alive with their magic.
Exactly. And to me, the idea of wonder, awe, it's different than magic or fantasy or wishing. Magic, adventure, that puts the guest in command, in control. You are the main character. You are the central character. Whereas when you experience wonder or awe at seeing nature, you are not the main character. You are in witness to something that's more important than you. So I was so interested to see them discuss this, and fascinated that they came so close to getting it right, but just missed the mark right here at the end, and didn't seem to, as they were discussing it, didn't seem to pick up on the fact that they missed that mark.
The first 3 are very tight, I will say.
Yeah.
Very, very much makes sense. I wonder if the 4th is loosey-goosey.
Yeah, maybe.
The origin of Animal Kingdom and its original mission is like shifting.
Exactly.
Ambiguous.
All right, I'm going to jump off my soapbox, and we will hop back over to Destination D23 news, and we have even more odds and ends. This was just a jam-packed, and we're not even covering the little previews they gave us of stuff happening at Hong Kong or elsewhere around the world. Number one, Ahsoka is coming to Star Tours attractions at Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland Paris. Apparently, they don't care about her in Tokyo. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But Ahsoka has recently made in-person appearances in Galaxy's Edge. Chopper and Hera have been out too. Not sure how long-term those live appearances will be, but it looks like she will be a permanent part of Star Tours. We knew they were adding new destinations, and they had teased that they were destinations that had never been seen on in a movie. So apparently we're going to see destinations maybe that have been seen in the TV show.
Yep.
We've also got the character Asha from the upcoming movie Wish is coming to Epcot, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. And we got a little more information about the Hatbox Ghost. He is materializing inside Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in late November, but he is not going to be in the same spot in the attic where he is in Disneyland. Instead, he's going to be earlier in the ride, and this is pretty controversial because the original concept for the Haunted Mansion was always in the first third of the ride, you do not see any ghosts. It is not until Madame Leota reads her her spell,
Yeah,
summons the spell that we can actually see the happy haunts. The way they are spinning this is that the Hatbox Ghost is not one of the happy haunts. He is an unhappy haunt, and that is why he is able to appear anywhere
Wherever
he
he
wants. Right. But they also saying that he is not, there are 999 haunts. They say that he was the original 999th, and he just disappeared, and so now there's still not 1,000. I don't know. It's very they're spinning hard there in the writing department, Imagineering. Let's put it that way. But on October 16th, guests at Epcot are finally going to be able to not only walk through the Journey of Water attraction at Epcot, but also meet Moana in the flesh in her new dedicated meet and greet area. We also got a little tease about the Avengers e-ticket ride that's supposed to be coming. It involves a new ride vehicle that can jump through the multiverse using Tony Stark's time suits with Xandarian jump points and Wakandan technology, but it looks just like a simulator to me. I don't know. I don't know. This looks like it's a screen-based thing to me.
Space is the issue. I don't know where they're gonna
I don't know.
Large.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that's all going to be about. And they just gave us the tiniest of tease about what's happening beyond Big Thunder Mountain. They told us that they were doing something beyond Big Thunder Mountain at the Magic Kingdom last year, and this year they said, no, really believe us, and showed us nothing more. Like, it was even less information than last time.
The thing about this D23 is it just feels like a continuation of last year.
It's almost like D23 2022.1.
Yes.
We're just sort of following up on previous announcements. To run down real quickly some dates coming up. September 22nd, that's the day you will be able to get back on Soarin' over California in Epcot for a limited time only. I hope that limited time lasts a while. They're tying it to the 100th anniversary, which I think is wrapping up in the end of the year, maybe, but I don't know.
I feel like through the holidays, maybe.
I wish they would just keep one theater always running that. That would make me happy. The Epcot's new attempt to make people forget about Illuminations is called Luminous, the Symphony of Us, and it is going to start on December 5th. Meaning, once again, Epcot Forever was not forever. And World Celebration, which includes Moana and also the Dreamers Point statue area, the whole center of Epcot, is supposed to be all done and ready for guests this coming December. They're also a little further off in the future going to be building a new lounge, tavern. We're not calling it a bar because we don't call things bars in the Magic Kingdom, but it's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean themed. It's going to be in Adventureland, and they're digging the Barker Bird animatronic out of storage, apparently. Or pretending they did, at least. So there'll be something to look at in there.
I am cautiously optimistic about that one because I think they said like a tavern or whatever.
Yeah.
We already have Gaston's Tavern, and that has.
We have Gaston's Tavern, and we also have Tortuga Tavern right across from the entrance. So I'm not sure where. I'm not sure if this is a new build or if this is just a retheme of Tortuga Tavern. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Because the kitchen complex that serves Pecos Bill also serves Tortuga Tavern and Aloha Isle and all of that. To build a new kitchen complex is not... That's a lot to ask for. So I'm guessing that's where it's going.
Yeah. And in the video, there was a rum barrel, which made me think maybe there will be, but I don't know if it's like a Blue Bayou pre-made, pre-batched hurricane. I don't really want it.
And they have been very careful up to now that they only serve alcohol table service.
Table.
There's been no walk-up alcohol service, and there's been no way to walk around Magic Kingdom holding a drink. If this finally breaks that barrier, I don't know. That's a line. That's a line. I'm not sure.
I can't see it.
Well, and finally, Test Track at Epcot is getting yet another reboot. So we have gone from 90s industrial crash test dummy commercial aesthetic to mid 2000s Tron.
Futuristic style.
Yeah, futuristic. But now that we have a real Tron ride, I guess we don't need Tron Track. So Test Track is going to be reimagined with a nod back to the original World of Motion, which from the one piece of concept art we got seems to imply actual real world environments, like driving through the woods instead of driving through a computer simulation. So it will be nice to see them flesh out Test Track with some detailed sets and natural looking lighting. So that we're not just sort of looking at, I don't know, neon Tinker toys the whole time. So those are the kind of yes and things coming to Walt Disney World and elsewhere, thanks to Destination D23. And before we jump into our final bit of news, it is time for us to hear a word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
Bringing you your top news story of the week. Whether from your backyard or from around the world, it's time for the main attraction.
Well, maybe the biggest news at Destination D23, it was the news about D23 Expo 2024. This is like D23 Inception. So they announced that next year's Expo, which is presumably where we'll get the really big news, is getting a big makeover. We have heard feedback over the years from attendees that, it packs a whole lot of stuff into a very short amount of time and a very small amount of space, and that it is difficult for everyone to get to see and do everything that they want to do at D23. So for next year's Expo, they are expanding in a big way. Instead of being confined to the Anaheim Convention Center, they are spreading out to multiple locations around Anaheim, starting with a D23 day at Angel Stadium, where on August 4th, where fans can attend the Los Angeles Angels versus New York Mets baseball game. Then on August 8th, there is going to be a kickoff party inside the Disneyland Resort itself. And the convention itself takes place on the 9th through the 11th. But the twist is that the daytime panels happen at the convention center. But for the big headliners at night, they are moving everyone into the Honda Center, which is a giant indoor arena with plenty of room for everyone.
I have caveats and thoughts.
Yes, please, because I have attended Destination D23. I have never attended an event in the Anaheim Convention Center. It looks terrifying to me. It looks like San Diego Comic-Con style claustrophobia to me.
Yes, I will say, the reason I love Disneyland is because I don't need to drive there or take an Uber or Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
I could stay at any hotel and walk to
Yes.
Disneyland, walk back to my hotel if I'm not driving back to LA. Now that we have to go over to the Angel Stadium, which is not walkable,
No.
now I'm like, okay, so are we, a million of us are going to be ordering a Lyft and Uber?
Well, I'm sure they're going to have a fleet of shuttle buses, but
Like a
how
lot.
are they going to handle that many people?
Yeah, I like the contained nature of it, where you could just go, show up, and enjoy, walk
Mhm.
back to your hotel, do whatever. So I'm a little confused about that. I also I hate going to concerts in stadiums and arenas because it's just
Mm.
so overwhelming, and getting in is a process, getting out is a process.
Sure. And
And
a
I
lot of
think
time you wind up watching the show on the Jumbotron instead of I can either look at the tiny little human being a million miles away, or I just spend the whole show watching it on the screen up above them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
I think it will be very interesting to see how it works out. If you are interested to seeing how it works out, you can join D23 yourself with a gold membership for $99.99 a year, plus tax. I think there's tax on that. The gold duo membership for 2 people is $129.99 a year. Or you can get a free membership that and basically entitles you to get emails and occasionally, watch stuff online, but doesn't have any of the discounts or advantages. That one is free though,
Yeah.
and you
I
can
will
go
say-
to. That's what I have personally. I go back and forth. If I see a really big, every year there's a gift or something, and when they had a 50th anniversary gift for Walt Disney World, that was really fun. I picked that one up. But the current one with a Mickey Mouse statue didn't do anything for me, so I skipped this year.
Yeah. So I am a gold member, but I don't do it for D23 per se. I do it for the other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Last week, I got to go to a D23 ticketed event at the Walt Disney Animation Studio lot.
Oh, wow. How did we not talk about that?
I know, because I forgot I did it also last week. But that is why I am a D23 gold member, because that is something that they don't offer regularly, and that is why I'm a member.
Well, I will say that when I was a gold member the previous year, I was able to sign up. They have very limited slots, but a couple times a year they do guided tours of the Disney Studio lot.
Yeah.
And we got to visit the archives. We got to see the original animation studio. I guess you went to the modern animation studio.
No,
which
I
is
went
sort
to
of
the studio lot. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You did the studio. Okay, you did the studio. Yeah. There's also another. Occasionally, they do tours of the Disney Animation, which is sort of across the highway. But getting the opportunity to take that tour definitely made the membership fee for D23 more than worth it, for sure. So tickets for the D23 Expo, otherwise known as D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, goes on sale spring of 2024. An admission for the D23 day at Angel Stadium and the kickoff event at Disneyland Resort, those are going to be sold separately from the Expo tickets. So I'm sure there will be very nice pricey packages if you want to bundle it all together, but if you just want to go to one thing and not the others, that will be an option too, it looks like.
I want to go to the in-park thing.
Yeah, that sounds like it will be a lot of fun.
Right.
Can't imagine what kind of special things they'll pull out for that.
Like they did the D23 Oogie Boogie night last year, which I did, but there really wasn't anything special except for maybe a photo op. But I think if they do something else, not Oogie Boogie, just like a D23 night, they could probably do that really cool.
Yeah. Well, hopefully one of the two of us will get to attend it. Probably you. And you'll be able to tell us all about it.
Maybe.
Well, before we conclude this week's episode, I just want to take back and say hi to some of the folks in the comments. John, our friend John Self, and colleague, he checked in saying hello from Epcot. And Michael's mom, Cindy, said hello. Cindy, we hope you feel better soon. Yes, AJC Magic put his finger on it. It will be interesting not getting easy to the Honda Center. That transition All I can say is they're going to have a constant fleet of buses from the convention center to the Honda Center to Disneyland. And boy, I would say if you're not interested in this event, don't go planning a trip to Disneyland that weekend, because this will be, if nothing else, congested traffic. Lots of traffic. Michael Bingham is very excited about Indiana Jones coming to Animal Kingdom, as well as he's excited about the Honda Center because he's a fan of the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
And finally, AJC thinking of going to D23, but not worried about the baseball game. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that baseball game is like the 4th and everything else starts on the 8th. Maybe it's like they want you to come early, have a few days in the park first before the expo starts. They want you to make a whole week out of it, I guess. Does seem like a big investment. Maybe. If there's a way for them to make extra money off this event, they will find it. Anyway, we want to, before we leave, once again thank our sponsors, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I want to remind all of you to please give us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to this podcast, and be sure to follow attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on whatever social media platform you happen to be using this month. Yeah. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. We will see you again next time. Bye.